80 bucks, it's small, and it sounds great. Let's take a closer look. Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to Channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl gear and more. Today we're checking out the new and improved Fosi Audio TB10D 2-channel Class D amplifier. This is an upgrade to the previous model, which by many accounts was not great. Fosi sent this to me for review purposes, but as always, my opinions are my own.
Channel 33 RPM.
First off, this amp is small. As I said, it's very small. It can fit in the palm of my hand, but don't let that fool you. This little beast has a lot of punch. The TB10D is a Class D, D as in Doug, amplifier. That's a techie term, but what that means is that it's very efficient. A relatively small Class D amp can produce a lot of power. It can pack a lot of punch, and that's good. Fosi Audio says the TB10D is capable of producing up to 300 watts per channel. But here's the key: to get that maximum power, you need to upgrade the power source. Out of the box, it's not quite that powerful. Now, Class D amplifiers are not perfect because of the way they're designed. The high end, the treble on these amps isn't always great, and they're not really suited for audiophile listening. But again, we're talking about an $80 amp. Generally, you can find Class D amps and Bluetooth speakers, powered subwoofers, and lower end home theater setups. Okay, let's take a closer look at this compact amplifier. On the front, we have a on and off switch. We've got treble and bass, and the larger knob right there, it's a volume knob. Flip it around to the back, and we have a single source input via RCA, and we have we got one set of speaker outs, right and left. And you can use either banana plugs, or you can unscrew these and put your speaker wire directly into there. And there is the power. There is the power plug-in. So I've been using the Fosi. I think it's Fosi. I've been using the Fosi amp now for a week or two, and I've been using it in a couple of different systems. First of all, I set up a really small system. I took this amp and I connected a couple budget bookshelf speakers. The speakers are made by Acoustic Research. They're not great, but they do the job. And for an audio input on that one, I just used my smartphone and I connected it via the RCA ins, and yeah, that was good, sounded good. But then I was curious to see if this thing could power some larger speakers. So I brought it in here into the music room, and I hooked up my Fluence tower speakers to this one, and for the input source, I used my Blue Sound Node music streamer. And I was quite surprised because without effort, this little thing powered those large speakers. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. What did I really think? Well, first, the Fosi was plenty loud. Not 300 watts loud, but certainly loud enough to fill my music room. It handled both the large and the small speakers with ease. The sound was clear, clean, not particularly warm, but that wasn't really an issue. The other thing is this amp was dead quiet. Sometimes with these cheaper devices, you get a hissing sound, particularly as you turn it up. That was not an issue with this device. When I plugged my Fluence towers into here and turned the volume up, say past 12 o'clock, I noticed the bass sounded a bit boomy. Again, it wasn't a deal breaker at all, but it was something I noticed. Was the Fosi as good as my Marantz PM6004 integrated amp? No, of course not. The Marantz is warmer, more encompassing, more refined, but it also cost 8 to 10 times more than the Fosi. The switches and knobs, yeah, okay, they are a bit pedestrian, but overall this thing is really well built, and the box is absolutely solid. For what it's worth, the Fosi definitely holds its own and would be perfect for, say, a secondary stereo system that you put in your home office or in your workroom or in your garage. Really, there's probably not much else that comes close to this amp at that price. Now, this amp also pairs very well with Fosi's Phono preamp. This is something you need if you want to attach a turntable to this, and when you do, I gotta say, Turntable sounds great through the system, and again, it would be perfect, as I just said, for a secondary stereo system, or a primary stereo system for someone just getting into vinyl. Now, I am no stranger to Class D small amplifiers. I've been using this amplifier and streamer from Fosi Audio now for a year or two, and I absolutely dig it. When I compare these two, what do I prefer, the Fosi or the Fosse? Well, they're kind of two completely different things. In terms of pure sound, I would give the edge probably to Fosse. Bit clearer, bit louder, no hiss. The Fosi does suffer from a bit of hiss. Other thing I like about the Fosi Audio one, you got the knobs, right? You don't need a smartphone and an app to control it. This one you do. That said, what the Fosi has going for it is that it has a built-in music streamer, right? So it's kind of a low-end version of, say, a Blue Sound Node music streamer, and something that's becoming more and more popular, and it's finding its way. Streamers are finding their way into more and more stereo systems. All right, so what's my bottom line? At 80 bucks and even less on sale, you can't beat the value of the Fosi Audio TB10D amplifier. It sounds good, performs well, and is built solid. It's nice to see affordable audio options worth buying, and it will be interesting to keep an eye on this company and see where they go next. Have you bought one of these Chinese Class D mini amps? What did you think? Let me know. Also, check out my review of the Fosse X2 Phono preamp. I'll see you there in a couple of minutes. Until then, keep on spinning.